Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today I am answering the question, do you need a degree to get into medical coding? If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. I get this question a lot. Blue, I'm considering going into medical coding, but should I get a degree? Should I just get a certification? Will having a degree get me a job faster? Or will having a degree get me more money? So let's dive into this. All right. I will start off by saying this. The degree holder designations are both offered with the American Health Information Management Association. There is the Registered Health Information Technician, the RHIT, and that is the associate's degree. And there's the RHIA, which is the Registered Health Information Administrator, that is the bachelor's degree. People who hold the degrees are often looked at to be the leaders of our industry because of the simple fact that that is what they are mostly trained on. Now, when you have a degree designation, employers are going to look at you like a leader because you have been trained. Both the degree programs offer training in leadership, and that is generally what they do. These folks are going to be the leaders, they're going to be the educators, they're going to be the managers, the supervisors, the lead coders if you're an RHIT. That is what their functions are. So if you are not interested in any of those supervisory type roles, then you should really consider what it is that you are wanting out of your career. If you are just wanting to be a medical coder, just coding, then you are wanting to go with the certification route. There is nothing wrong with going just the certification route. I have known plenty of people who have just one certification, no college degree, and they do very well. And oftentimes, their pay is not that much different from a degree holder's. So there's not a whole big difference unless you have your bachelor's degree and you're wanting to be in that executive suite. Obviously, that's going to bring you a little bit more money. But the thing is, you have to really consider if that's what you want to do. Oftentimes, the degree holders are not asked to do coding because their main focus is the managerial side of the house. The RHITs do a bit more of the coding because they are more hands-on with the coders. But again, you're still going to have to get an additional credential a lot of times because these employers are going to want you to be certified with an additional credential as well. So sometimes having the degree is not going to be sufficient. You have to get a certification on top of it. Whereas if you already have your certification, it just depends if you want to move up to management, then you're going to want to go the degree route. So that is something to keep in mind. A lot of people tell me, well, Blue, I went to the school and they said that having a degree will get you a job faster. This is not true. Simply because I know plenty of people who have a degree who could never get a job in the medical coding field. Here's the reason why. There is a slew of reasons why, but if your resume does not look up to par, if your cover letter does not look up to par, if you get very discouraged being turned down just a few times, that's also a problem. So those three things are huge. If you cannot pass a background check, if you cannot pass a drug screen, if you cannot pass their initial assessment test, that's also a problem. So there's many reasons why, and not every person's situation is the same. So it really all depends on what your focus is going to be when you're getting into this field. So that is something to keep in mind. When it comes to looking for a job, and a lot of times they say, well, degree holders can get in much more quicker. The thing with the degree programs is they do give you an externship. Now, an externship, they do their time in a facility and they get a little bit of training. Sometimes it is coding focused. Sometimes it is other duties as assigned type focus. And there's not really a whole lot of emphasis on the coding, but it really does depend wherever you get your externship at. Your externship is a great place to make those connections, but it doesn't always guarantee leading to a job. So that is something to think about when you're trying to decide whether or not to go into these degree programs. To me, what you make as a certified medical coder versus having a degree plus carrying on another credential, you have to put out a lot of money for these degrees. And if you are brand new and you're not even sure if you're going to like it yet, you should always, I recommend going with the certification, because that is going to be the cheapest way to get you into the industry, get you in it to see if you even like it, to pursue a degree. And then you can pursue a degree. And if you get lucky, maybe you can have an employer who does tuition reimbursement, okay? So that's always an option. I am a huge believer of not getting into student loan debt, because student loan debt for something that you don't even know if you're going to like it or not. Believe it or not, there are some people that are not compatible with medical coding because they don't realize all the detail stuff that goes into it, which is why I make it a point on my channel to be telling you guys about this stuff, because it is important. You have to know that there is so much more to being a medical coder than just reading over documentation. It is being the entire package, right? So that is my advice on that. But I will also caution you guys about this. The schools are going to tell you what they need to tell you in order to get you into these programs, into these degree programs, whatever the case may be, because they want your money. They don't always have your best interests at heart. It is your responsibility to be able to look and do all your research. I'm glad you're here. If you came here to find out the answer to this question and you stumbled upon my videos, great. That is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you continue to go through my videos and see what other advice I have for you, because I try to keep things as real as possible. I don't sugarcoat anything, and I'm oftentimes very blunt. I'd like to get to the point. That is the whole thing about me, is I do get to the point. But I need you guys to know that when you are spending your hard-earned money, or if you're going to be signing on the dotted line for a loan to go to school, you need to make sure that you understand fully what you're getting yourself into. Yes, there's going to be things that you're going to learn when you're on the job. And I mean, I understand that. And there's going to be a lot of things you won't know until you get in. But really make sure, because there's a comma in this student loan or this loan. That's a lot of money and a lot of responsibility. And it takes a lot. It is crazy what we have to know. And we don't go to medical school. The vast majority of us do not go to medical school, and we still have to know what doctors know. So that is what you need to know. I mean, you have to understand the body, the disease process, medical terminology, anatomy and physiology. You got to understand all of that, because when you're reading this documentation, oh yeah. And another thing is, when you're in college and you're in these degree programs, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to fully understand the whole process of coding. And you don't really know what your instructor knows. Okay. So there's always those things. Now, yes, granted, a lot of schools are going to try to have really good instructors, but we've all been there where some instructors just don't care. And you want to make sure that you're going to get your money's worth if you are going to pay for this out of pocket. Okay. I'm not saying that having a degree is not worth it. I'm sure it's worth it for those who want to be in a managerial position. And we do need really good leaders in this industry, in the health information industry, because there is so much power that people who are in leadership have over the whole industry. If you are going into a degree program, or you're in a degree program now and you want to be a leader, you want to be a manager, good for you. But I will say this, and this is a little side note, as a plea for all of the future coders out there, that if you are in a position of leadership in your facility, give new people a chance. Make it known that you are willing to take on new people, because there is so much talent out there that just gets wasted because people are not always strong enough to stick with it. And some people get so discouraged, and it almost pains me when I hear people getting discouraged because they just gave up. They got rejected a few times and, oh, this isn't for me and I just wasted all this money. Instead of people just giving them a chance. If you're at a facility and you know that we have this hiring policy and it says that we only want people that have 3 to 5 years of experience, come on. You can allow a couple of people that are brand new to come in and learn from your facility. And you never know what gems you're going to be hiring. And yes, if you're going to take a chance on somebody new, set the bar high. Make sure they know their anatomy, physiology, and medical terminology, because they have no excuse not to know all of that right from the gate, okay? Because they've been through school, or they've been through a self-study program, or they've had previous experience in the healthcare industry. And that's another thing that gets me. When I hear about some nurses, they can't even get hired. I'm like, are you serious? You know, like, you're a nurse, like, you should be able to get hired. But a lot of times, again, the resume plays a key part in it. The cover letter plays a key part in it. I do resume reviews, and this is not, you know, just to be like, oh, you know, about me and my services. But I do want you guys to know that I do resume reviews. So I will leave my rates in the description box below. It's very reasonable. It's $25 for the hour. And we meet over Zoom, and I go over your resume and I look at the fine points, and we talk about some more of your talents and your skills that you can put on your resume. Because sometimes people are just not really thinking about that. They're not really thinking about all of their talents and everything that they do have. Are they bilingual? And, you know, all these other things. So these are things that we go over on your resume. And I strongly recommend that if you're out there, that you write your own resume, because don't try to give it to somebody that's a professional resume writer, because you need to write this out on your own. This employer needs to know that you have taken the time to write this resume. And I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it on a lot of my videos, because that is really huge. Verbal and written communication skills are really big in the health information field. Okay, you've got to have that, hands down. And if you say, well, Blue, I don't like that, you're going to have to get used to it. And it's not about, well, I don't like that. It is part of the career field. It is part of what we do. But again, going back to my plea, if you are going to be in that managerial position, you have every right to demand what you want for your facility. And I think hiring new people would be a really great thing. Not only that, you would have probably a very grateful new person who will start in your facility. So that is my advice there. And like I said, I will always make a plea for brand new people, because again, there's a lot of talent out there that just gets disregarded just because they don't have experience. And again, sometimes people are they just get so discouraged, and it's so hard to keep going, which is another reason why I do my channel, because I want to encourage those people that are on that job search, that are on that job hunt, trying to find a job, and they keep getting rejected, to keep getting out there. If something is not working, change your approach, change your resume, change, you know, however you have things laid out. But again, that is my advice, you know, and like I said, if you are in that managerial position, you have that right and you have that power. So my advice, take a chance on new people, because remember how it is for you starting out. Anybody who has a degree is going to go through the same thing, where they may have a difficult time finding a job. Because why? Managers are fewer in number compared to medical coders. There's more medical coders than there are manager spots, right? What is it? Too many of looking at a good place where you can find employment, being in that manager spot, because not every place that you apply is going to want to hire you, because if they already have a manager, then why do they need somebody who's already in a manager type degree holding, right? So that is something to think about. But again, my advice, guys, start with the certification and then decide if you like it. And if you luck out and you have an employer who does tuition reimbursement, then you just did something really good, because now you don't have to burden that. You don't have to have that heavy burden of all that student loan debt. You don't want to get into student loan debt for something that you don't even know if you're going to like it or not. You know, that is just my advice. So I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm just going to leave it at that. But you guys, you know, it's your career and it's your journey, your path. But I always say to take the path that is going to let you learn the most. It's going to cost you the least, because there's no point in getting yourself into debt before you start. Okay, you shouldn't be so heavily burdened with debt before you get right out of the gate. And that's just my advice. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I hope this cleared it up. I hope this was helpful for you. If you haven't had a chance to, hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you want more of this content. If you found that it was really helpful for you, I hope that you will share it. And I'm going to wrap this one up. So if you're a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.